Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who have never been to this channel before, my name is Robert. I'm a retired NYPD Highway Patrol motorcycle lieutenant. I did a wonderful 22-year career. 15 of those years were spent in the motorcycle unit. And on this channel, my goal is two-part. The first part is to share my knowledge with you in motorcycle operation, particularly slow motorcycle operation, which is the part of motorcycle operation that most people are not familiar with. Ironically, it's the most important part because it's the part that requires 100% of your skill. At higher speeds, the motorcycle doesn't require that much input from you, because if you jump off, it will keep going. It can ride by itself. But at low speeds, 15 miles per hour or lower, 100% of your involvement is needed. So we want to make you proficient in slow motorcycle operation. That's the first part of the goal. The second part is to make you be the boss of your motorcycle. What do I mean by that? It means being in 100% control of that motorcycle, not being intimidated by the motorcycle, so that if you want to do simple things like make a U-turn, you're not going to think twice about it. You're not going to worry about dropping the motorcycle because you're going to practice the basic fundamentals of slow motorcycle operation, which is throttle, clutch, rear brake, also known as the friction zone, not the rear brake. That's just used with the friction zone. Okay, so welcome to the channel. All right, today was the second session, the second practice session. And again, I had fun. Now this was 2 CVOs out there. That was it, 2 CVOs. And we had a good time. We got some good practice in. We did a single serp. We also did a double offset serp. Of course, we did a U-turn. And lastly, we did a figure 8. Now, I did a figure 8 in the confines of 4 parking spaces, but this time I made sure I coned off the parking spaces completely, so there's no escape, no room for error. All right, so I'm looking forward to showing you guys this. And remember, this Sunday coming up, we're going to be out there again. All right, but enough talking, let me show you the footage. All right, so we're going to be talking about the U-turn again. Now I realized the last time we talked about the U-turn, I kept saying if you're going to make a left turn in the U-turn, you dip left, right, and then make the left U-turn. All right, if you're going to make a right U-turn, you dip right, left, and then make the U-turn. So the reason that you're doing that is you're gaining momentum. It makes it a lot easier to turn the motorcycle when you're gaining momentum. Now what I'll also say is, we always talk about the friction zone. Friction zone is your friend. And preload, you're always going to hear me say preload. Preload the throttle so you have that power in reserve. So when you need it, it's there. So when you're coming through here, you're going to make a left U-turn, dip left, dip right. You're looking at that green cone. Don't stare at it, just look at it. And don't cheat yourself. Once you get right here, turn the handlebars. Now you're looking at that cone. Look all the way. You're in the friction zone. And then come out. We're always talking about fundamentals. The beauty about the fundamentals are they don't change. It doesn't matter what kind of motorcycle you're riding. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Everything comes back to the basics, all right? So another thing I'll say to you is this. When you're doing the dip to the right or the dip to the left, you want to make sure you have enough speed. Remember, you're preloaded already. Get your speed where you want it, preloaded. As you do the dips, have the clutch all the way in. Remember, it's always easier to turn the motorcycle when the clutch is in. So, when I get right here, I'm making a left U-turn. When I go to dip left, the clutch is all the way in. I'm not in the friction zone. And then I go to dip right. Again, I'm not in the friction zone. The clutch is all the way in. I don't get into the friction zone until I'm here. Friction zone, friction zone. All right? Lean the motorcycle. Lean the motorcycle. As long as you're in the friction zone. As long as you have power going to the rear wheel. Don't worry about it. You're not going to drop the motorcycle. Lean the motorcycle. And as you come out of the turn, let the clutch out slowly. The motorcycle will stand up. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Harley-Davidson, Savannah. Said he's gonna come out today and practice. All right, not bad at all. All right, he's just warming up. He just got here, so he's just warming up. Now he's gonna do some right turns, and that's what you want to do. Keep that throttle up. There we go. You see how you hear his throttle? That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. Preload the throttle and keep it constant. Much better. Much better. Because if he's got that throttle, he doesn't have to worry. All you have to do is let the clutch out. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see if he's turning his head. Because that's key. Remember, that is key. No, he's not turning his head. Okay, let's talk to him. Because he's going to see how much tighter that turn gets if he turns his head and looks at that green cone. See how his head's not turning? All right, here's what I want you to do. That's good. And you're not even, you're just warming up, so that's good.
Yeah.
But what I want you to notice is, what I'm going to point out to you is, you're not turning your head.
Nope.
So you're making that turn, but watch how much tighter that turn's going to be. When you're going to make a left turn, look at that green cone all the way at the end.
Okay.
Right? As soon as you go to make your turn, turn your head and look at that cone.
Got it.
Go. Watch the difference. Because wherever you look, that's where you're going to go. Much better. Now he let, that would have been even tighter, but he let the clutch pop a little bit, so it pushed him forward. Nice. Try to do it a little bit slower. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. See how much tighter he is? So, he was, the other times he was doing it, when he wasn't looking over his shoulder, he was all the way at this line. Then when he looked over his shoulder, he was about right here, but he was going too fast. When he slowed down, he was right here. And that's what it's all about. This is slow speed riding. Now it's always going to make you feel more comfortable going a little bit faster, because when your speed goes up, the percentages of your involvement go down. So that's why the thought process is, let me just go a little bit faster. But when you slow down and you control that friction zone and that rear brake, feathering that rear brake, everything becomes easier. When you weren't looking over your shoulder, you were just at that line, just at the line.
Okay.
When you looked over your shoulder, you were about right here.
Okay.
When you slowed down and looked over your shoulder, you were here.
Okay.
The slower you go, it's always going to make the turn tighter. But that's good, man. That's real good. Okay, as I told you guys before, we got Eric here from Savannah Harley-Davidson. What's going on, Eric?
What's up? How you guys doing?
All right, so now, Eric, talk to us about a couple of things. First, how long you been riding?
About 20 years.
Okay, 20 years. And what are you riding?
Right now I'm riding the CVO Street Guide 2015 model.
All right, so let's take a look at this street. Now, we knew it was a CVO, and by we, I mean me. I knew it was a CVO, just based on those real lights. All right? Eric is a veteran. Thank you for your service, Eric.
Thank you.
And this motorcycle looks good. It looks good. All right, Eric, talk to us about your slow riding skills. Scale of 1 to 10, where would you put yourself? 10 being the best.
I would say probably about a 5.
Okay, and that's good. And you guys saw what you saw Eric doing in that U-turn, cold. Just got here, cold. And everybody, before you do when you get into the cone course, you have to warm up, all right? Get loose, get more acclimated to your motorcycle. And think about it. You could have rode 20 miles, 100 miles. You still got to warm up doing this because it's a different kind of riding. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, it's like a serpentine, but it's a double serpentine. I'll take you guys through it. All right, so we're going to do a double serp. And the double serp, what do I always say? Double cones equals an entrance or an exit. That's a gate. So the way I have this measured out, we have 1, 2, 3 parking spots. You may as well say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parking spots. Because when you come through here, and again, as soon as you get here, as soon as you see these cones, you should be looking at that cone. As soon as you get past here, you're in the friction zone already. Remember that. Squeeze, turn, let the clutch out. And now you're coming towards this cone. Now we don't want to go past this line over here. So when you get to this cone, and remember, please don't stare at the cones, okay? Don't stare at them, because if you look at it, you're going to hit it, all right? You have to make a mental picture of where it is and use your peripheral vision. All right, once you get here, right to this line, you're already starting your turn, squeezing the clutch in a little bit, you're in the friction zone. As soon as you start making that turn, you should be looking at that cone. Where you look is where you're gonna go, lock. Now, when you make this turn, don't go straight for the cone. Because if you go straight for the cone, there's no way, well, I'm not gonna say there's no way, but it's gonna be very difficult for you to make this turn without going over this line over here, okay? Once you go around this cone, I'm leaning the camera because that's what your motorcycle should be doing, leaning. You have to lean the motorcycle. Could you do this course with the motorcycle straight up? Oh yeah, absolutely, you could. And as a matter of fact, I can show you that you can do a lot of this stuff with the motorcycle just straight up. But that's not the goal here. But what I will say is if you can do that, it shows me that you do have a good, you have a good feel for the friction zone, because you need to have a good feel for the friction zone to be able to do that straight up. But we want you to lean the motorcycle, okay? So lean. Now, once you make this turn, like I said, don't go straight for the cone. Go over here. Go almost back to where you came from, which is the double cones, all right? Because that's gonna make it a lot easier to make this turn. Now, if you're making 18-foot turns in the U-turn, all of this is easy. You see how all of this ties in? See that box over there? That's a figure 8. If you can do a figure 8 in that box, or even if it's a little bit wider, you can do this. All of these things are similar. They're all the same, but all it's doing is getting you, don't let your mind screw with your head, because that's what happens. You see these cones and you start forgetting, if I just made an 18-foot turn here, I mean, why would this be any different? Why would this be more difficult? All right, in my opinion, this is easier. So anyway, same thing, lean. As soon as you get here, lean. Now you're looking at that cone. Lean, 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 friction zone, friction zone. As soon as you get out of this turn, let the clutch out a little bit. It'll pick your bike up a little bit. And again, don't go straight for the cone. Go in this direction. Go towards the cone that you just came out of prior to this one. Then you're gonna start your turn again. As soon as you start your turn, you're looking at that cone. That's the only thing you need to look at. You can control everything else. All right, we're gonna have Eric demonstrate it for us. Keep those RPMs up. Keep the RPMs up. Much better. Now, I'm glad that Eric's exhaust is loud, because we can all hear when his throttle is too low. And his throttle was going low at the worst time, which is going around a cone, because that's where you drop the motorcycle. You don't drop it going straight. You drop it in a turn. All right, so we have to stay preloaded. Okay, you have to keep power going to that rear wheel. And it's easy to know if you have power if you don't hear it. If your motorcycle is at idle, it's too low. Okay, it's too low. So I remember I said before, and I'm going to correct it now. All right, I said before that when you come around this cone, let's go to the wide lens. When you come around this cone, actually I said before you even get to come around this cone, when you're first getting ready to make this turn around a cone, I told you to look at that cone. Okay, what I really want to tell you is look at the last cone you came around, which is that cone, because that's the cone you're going towards once you go around this turn. All right, you make this turn, handlebars are locked, and I told you don't go straight for that cone. I told you to go in that direction because you have to make a wide turn. It's almost like a figure eight. So if you're going in that direction, why not look at the cone you just passed? So that's what I want you to do. Look at that cone. Once you find that your motorcycle is going in that direction, you don't have to keep looking at that cone. I told you I don't want you staring at any cones. Okay, that's inappropriate. All right, so then once you see that you're already going in that direction, now you can look at this cone. All right, and now you're going to start this turn, and as soon as you get near this cone, your front wheel is here. Now you're looking at the last cone you just came out of. All right, and if you can't turn your head that far, look at the next cone until you get right here, and then look at that cone. And I'm guaranteeing you, if you look at it, you'll go to it. Once you get the motorcycle in that direction, turn the handlebars, friction zone, friction zone. Now you're looking at that cone. If you have enough dexterity to turn your head more, you're looking at that cone. All right, and you just have to keep doing it. You see how much better Eric got when he first tried this, but he was cold. You have to warm up. All right, man, let's do it again. Let's keep the throttle up. Much better. Much better. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my God. Oh, that is sexy. It's okay. Give it throttle. Give it throttle. Throttle is your friend. Nice and wide. Good. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna go in the opposite direction now. Come out nice and wide. Very good. Keep the throttle up. Nice and wide. See how you can hear his throttle now? Much better. He's looking at the cones that he should be looking at, not the one that he shouldn't be looking at. Perfect. This is how it should look. He's in the friction zone. His eyes are where they're supposed to be. He's leaning the motorcycle. He's using the rear brake to regulate his speed. All of the 3 techniques that are needed are being used. And it's a perfect run. Perfect run. And he'll go out the exit. Beautiful. Beautiful. I was just going to ask him to do that too. Look over your shoulder. Look over your shoulder. There you go. And do it the other direction too. Woo. Just keep looking over that shoulder. There we go. Remember, those right turns are always harder. Don't ask me why. But if you use the proper techniques, don't worry about it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Those right turns, man.
Dizzy.
Okay, so I widened out the figure 8. Oh, whoa. Did you grab that front brake?
No, I hit the throttle.
Yeah, but to stop the bike, did you grab the front brake just now?
I don't think so. I might have. I don't know.
It looked like it. That's a 25 push-up penalty. So guys, that's the reason why you don't touch the front brake on a cone course. Because if you do, I asked him if he grabbed the front brake, but I didn't have to ask him. I saw it. The fork went like that. Okay. Let's try this again. Get the RPMs up. Throttle, throttle. Yeah, throttle. Look over your shoulder. Good. Throttle, 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 throttle. Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Throttle, 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 throttle. And then go right out. Go right out. All right, much better. And that's just going to get better the more he does it. All right, we got to get the throttle to stay up, and then it'll be a lot smoother. How you feel about that?
It's tough, but you know, it is what it is.
It looks good, man. Throttle, throttle, throttle. Keep that thing preloaded. That's, you know, because again, now I will say this. I saw at least 2 times that you thought that you were going to drop the bike, and you did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You let the clutch out and just pick your bike right up. And then other times you put your foot down. But
Yeah.
I don't even care about that. The fact that you at least once or twice, actually did it more than 3 times, you did it the proper way. You felt like, uh-oh, and let the clutch out, bam, picked it right up. That was beautiful. Beautiful. And I don't know if you want to keep doing it, but we are going to run through the whole thing.
Yeah, let's run through the whole thing.
All right, we're not recording this part. We're running through the whole thing. Okay, so I want to show you guys something here in this figure 8. I'm going to make one of my turns a little bit too late, and I'm almost going to run right into the cones. And you're going to see that when I almost run into the cones, I bring the motorcycle almost to a complete stop and then make the adjustment right there. Right here, watch this. Look at that. I had to basically turn the handlebars and let the motorcycle lean to the left. Let the clutch out. That's going to ensure that I don't fall. I'm going to be doing a video on that coming up, when you have to make a turn like that by just letting the motorcycle fall and catching it with the clutch, throttle, and rear brake. Okay, right here I'm doing it again, and the reason I'm doing it again is because of that mistake that I made. Always practicing, always practicing. So I go back, I look at these things, and if I don't like the way it looked, if it didn't feel good, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again, because it's all about repetition. What do I always say? Repetition equals retention. All right, so I don't know if you guys picked it up, but the first time I went through here and I was making a right turn, I had one of those moments where I was like, uh-oh, I might have to put my foot down. But the old Robert would have put his foot down. The new Robert, the Robert that's not reacting to instinct, but reacting to skill, all I did was let the clutch out a little bit. It's already, I'm always preloaded. All right, again, we're in the friction zone. I'm always preloaded. So if you're already preloaded, it's a lot easier. Like I said, you want to simplify this as much as possible. The less you have to do, the better. So instead of having to worry about throttling and the clutch control, just keep the throttle preloaded. And I was fine. It just got me right back where I needed to be. Didn't have to stand all the way up, but it needs to give me power where I'm not falling. Okay, this is a different vantage point of that first run in the figure 8. And I want you to see that mistake that I made again, but this time from above, and how I basically had to almost stop the motorcycle and then jerk the handlebars to the left and let the motorcycle fall to the left, catch it with the clutch right here. The motorcycle came to almost a stop. All right. The point is, when it came to a stop, or when it almost came to a stop, that would be the time where most people would say, time to put the foot down. But I know if I just let the clutch out and I'm already in the friction zone, I'm already preloaded, I know that the motorcycle is not going to fall. I can trust that. And that's why I always tell you guys, trust that you're not going to drop the motorcycle. You'll also notice here, see the center of these 4 parking spots? That's where you see I keep going right over that. That's also where I'm looking. Every time I turn my head, I'm looking right there. And you know why I'm going right over it? Because that's exactly where I'm looking. Wherever your eyes go, that's where the motorcycle is going to go. This is a quick shot of Eric doing the figure 8. The figure 8 was expanded to 6 parking spots, which is still excellent. He did a great job today. All right, guys, so that was a lot of fun. You know, I have to be 100% honest with you. The most disappointing part of that is having to pick up the cones, because that's when it's over. So what I do want to convey to you guys is I don't want you to think that the goal here is so that you can make 18-foot U-turns. That's not the goal. Now, if it gets to that, great. But the goal is to make you not feel any kind of way that's negative when it comes to making the U-turn. So if that means a 20-foot U-turn, that's fine. The goal is to get your confidence level up. That's what this is all about. It's not to make you drag your boards when you're making a U-turn. It's not to enter you in the next police rodeo riding show. No. Now, if you ever want to do those things, that's great. The only way you're ever going to even think about that is if your confidence level's up. Okay? So that's what this is all about. All right? So anyway, I want to thank you guys again for watching. I want to thank you for subscribing. And I also want to thank you guys for the comments and the emails. All right? Remember, that email address, that's there to let you know if you're on the email group list. Next time I'm going out to practice, and if you want to come, you're more than welcome. And also, if you guys want to share anything, if you want to share pictures, I've been getting some nice pictures of people's motorcycles. I've been getting a lot of nice information from you guys about pipes and speakers and suspension and, you know, all kind of stuff like that. And I have to be honest with you guys. My knowledge is very limited in all of those things. I just know how to ride them. So I am taking all your information, and I appreciate it. I want you to keep giving it to me, because I can always go back and look at it and then research it. But when you're saying I got this kind of pipes, or I got this kind of 4.5s, or these kind of shocks or suspension, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're speaking another language to me, believe it or not. Because I'm the guy that if I need something done, you know, I'll do my research. I'm always gonna do my research. So the good thing is, if all of you guys are giving me input, and I'm noticing that a few of you are saying the same thing, that's something to look at, all right? Because I value all of your opinions, okay? Somebody always knows something that somebody else doesn't. I tell you that, guys, all the time. I'm never going to think I know everything. So I appreciate it. Keep it coming in, all right? But, again, that's the end of this video. And again, I'll say, if you liked it, subscribe. This one was a lot shorter because we have a lot less people. Hit that notification bell and share. All right, you definitely got to share this with people, because the more people that know about this, the better. We're trying to make riders more confident, because a confident rider is a safe rider. All right, my brothers in blue, take care out there, man. Be careful. Don't get complacent. And all my motorcycle riders, same message. Do not get complacent. Be careful. Practice, practice, practice. All right. Spend more time thinking about the things that you have and less time complaining about the things that you don't. All right. Take care until next time. Wear those masks.